As long as you are talking to God, you are mortals. That sentence shocks because it strikes at the very habit we have baptized as holy. But let it strike. Let it do its work. It is an impossibility for the mind to reach God. No. The mind cannot vault the gap between creature and creator with words, wishes, or nicely braided sentences. Be still and know that I am God. Did you ever stop to think? Knowing follows stillness, not speech. Prayer is not man's word, it is God's word. When prayer is real, it is God speaking within his own temple, and you are the listening. Prayer begins where talking ends. The moment you cross that threshold, you are no longer the beggar at the gate. You are the gate through which the Father utters his life. I can of my own self do nothing. It is the Father within me that doeth the works. Let that be our confession at the door, not a slogan, a surrender. I am not asking you to improve your talking. I am asking that you lay it down. Don't bring explanations to omniscience. Don't try to alert the infinite to the facts on the ground. When ye pray, enter thy closet and shut the door. The shutting of the door is not on the world merely, but on your own mouth, your planning, your anxious rehearsals. My sheep hear my voice. Not my sheep convince me with many words. The voice is present. Our work is receptivity. Today, our passage is from petition to communion by listening. You have been trained to list, to argue, to promise, to bargain. Leave that at the outer court. Come as an empty vessel and let God fill that vessel. Come without program, without pitch. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. That is sufficient as your only word, and even that, let it be a sigh rather than a speech. Why? Because anything that is written or spoken by us is an effect. How can you get God power into an effect? There is no power but the one. When you discover that, you will stop polishing words to make them shine at the throne. You will sit unadorned, and you will receive the still small voice, breaks no doors, advertises no agenda, but when it utters, creation answers. Let there be light, and there is. Not because a human argued well, but because God spoke God. Do not be frightened. I am scared pink of any class that thinks I have something to give you. I do not. I can of my own self do nothing. But the Father within doeth his work as we fall silent. So make this the intention of your heart. I will make of my prayer an emptiness of myself. I will listen, and in that listening, you will feel the shift from mortal address to filial awareness. And hear, perhaps for the first time, Son, all that I have is thine. Let us be very plain. When ye pray, use not vain repetition as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Did you ever notice that? Thinking we shall be heard for much speaking is the oldest superstition wearing the holiest robe. Vain repetition is sound without spirit, syllables stacked like bricks that never build a temple. You and I have prayed like that, counting phrases, cycling the same requests, hoping that frequency will coerce omnipotence. It will not. It really isn't prayer. It is echo. What is hidden inside that echo? A bargain. I will say this. Do that, light this candle, whisper this formula, and in return, thou shalt give me my outline, personal will in religious clothing. Nevertheless, not my will. We say it, but we whisper it as a polite footnote after 3 pages of my will be done. And then we wonder why the heavens are brass. Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him. If he knows, who are we informing? If he loves, whom are we persuading? Please don't pray for horses or gasoline or houses or automobiles. That is too late. That is all in the realm of effect. I once received a letter, if only I could have $75 a week a small home, and a car, I could begin to study truth. No, that is not truth. That is shopping. You cannot get God power into an effect. How can you? How can the infinite be poured into a bucket and told to behave? Anything that is written or spoken is an effect. Anything that is thought is an effect. How can you get cause to obey its own shadows? There is no power but the one. There is no God but the one. When you invest power in words, you make an idol of syllables. When you invest power in desires, you make an idol of tomorrow. Be not anxious for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink. Is not the life more than meat? Anxious asking is still asking, only with a tremor in it. But anxiety cannot move God. Want cannot move God. Eloquence cannot move God. God moves God. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The answer is not waiting in your vocabulary. The answer is inherent in the present. So take the power out of your phrases. Take the sacred gasoline out of your lists. Take the weight off the Boy Scout oath you memorized as a prayer. Words are beautiful as windows, not as engines. Use them, if you must, to say only this: Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Then stop. Let the effect fall silent before cause. Let the creature be still before Creator. And with that, see how petitions fall away like old garments no longer needed, no longer trusted, because you have ceased bargaining with love and have begun consenting to it. Now we stand where the talking ended, and here is where prayer begins. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. That is the posture. That is the key in the lock. We arrive not to inform, not to persuade, not to plead a case before a reluctant judge. We arrive to listen, be still, and know that I am God. Knowing follows stillness. It does not precede it. It certainly does not shout its way into it. The moment you turn within with that single consent, speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. You have moved from noise to sanctuary. Come as an empty vessel, not a decorated cup engraved with your outline, not a chalice filled with your remedies. Come without enemies to expose or friends to protect. Come without the ledger of yesterday's sins or tomorrow's strategies. Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him. Did you ever stop to think of that? If he knows, what is there to explain? If he is love, what is there to convince? I am not coming to enlighten omniscience. I am coming to be enlightened by omniscience. I am not coming to move God. I am consenting that God move in me. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Let us be very practical. When you sit down or stand or lie quietly, go in with one gentle phrase to open the window. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Then let a soft liturgy wash the mind clean of self. Thy grace is my sufficiency, thy peace my atmosphere, thy love my safety. Not as magic, not as leverage, but as a lowering of weapons, a folding of wings. And then stop. Let the words fall into silence. Words are windows. They are not engines. Do not try to pump God through syllables. Sit in the cleared space. Wait. Rest. Listen with no ear. See with no eye. Desire with no desire. The still small voice does not enter competition with your arguments. It waits for the room you make by ceasing to argue. What follows? Perhaps nothing reportable, and yet everything essential. My peace give I unto you, not as the world giveth. It may come as a quiet weight of presence, a soft certainty that needs no outline, a release from the ache of managing outcomes. This is not a trick of thought, it is grace recognized. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. You discover the answer precedes your vocabulary, because the answer is inherent in the presence. From that awareness, acts are given you to do, words are given you to say, silence is given you to keep. Not by planning, but by hearing. This is prayer. Receptive silence in which God's word, not ours, is heard. My sheep hear my voice. In the hearing, the mortal fades and the sun awakens. Son, all that I have is thine. Do not grasp for the thine. Consent to the voice. Make this your rule. Enter empty. Whisper if you must, and then be still, that God may be God in you. Let us now lay the beam that carries the whole house. There is no power but the one. Hear it until it unseats every superstition about syllables and systems. Anything that is written or spoken is an effect. Anything that is thought is an effect. How can you get God power into an effect? You cannot. I am the Lord. That is my name. And my glory will I not give to another. You see, the glory, the efficacy, the causation remains in God. We do not import it into words as if we could bottle lightning in a sentence, demote every form. Statements, mantras, visualizations, beautiful as they might be, are only windows. They are not engines. They may open a door. They do not push God through it. Use them as you would a key in a lock once turned. Let it go. Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Repetition is not might. Imagery is not power. Technique is not spirit. At best, these are the broom and dustpan with which we sweep the mind's floor, so that the guest has a clean place to sit. Then we sit down and be still. Consider the artist. A composer cannot think a symphony into being by clenched intellect. If he strains, he gets fragments and friction. When does the theme arrive? When he grows very quiet. When he no longer dictates, but listens. The melody is not manufactured. It is received. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. The true line descends when the ego retires. That is prayer. That is creation. Not by calculation, but by consent. Now, let us be frank. If a technique could cause God to act, technique would be God. Did you ever stop to think of that? If a certain number of affirmations guaranteed results, then the counter that tallied them would be the Almighty? No. Abandon that idol of method. We are not mechanics turning wrenches on the infinite. We are branches abiding in the vine. Without me ye can do nothing. Let cause be cause. Let spirit originate its own movement in you. Here is the law as simple as a shadow on the ground. Effects follow cause as shadow follows form. You cannot chase the shadow into substance. You cannot polish the shadow into power. Cease managing effects. Enter the silence of cause. When cause utters, effects appear in their order, health, direction, provision. Yet even then they are not our goal. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Added, not manufactured by mantra. So take your phrase, thy grace is my sufficiency, use it once to open the window, and then throw the window wide and forget the latch. Take a verse. Speak, Lord. Thy servant heareth. Whisper it to dismiss yourself, and then stop. If a visualization calms you, let it calm you, then lay it aside. The power is never in the picture. The power is in presence. Sit in that presence until it announces itself. In him we live and move and have our being. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. When you know that, words find their right place as servants to silence. Techniques take their place, portals to awareness, never power sources. And God takes his place, because all in all. Abandon hope, all ye that enter. Do not be afraid of that sentence. It is not an invitation to despair. It is the doorway out of strain. Hope, as the world uses it, is a disguised outline. It is a hand on the steering wheel of tomorrow, a gentle pressure on the arm of omnipotence. Lay that down. Take no thought for your life, not even a holy thought about how you think it should look. When hope is relinquished as outlining, freedom begins. In that moment, you no longer demand futures, you receive presents. This is the Christic stance. Nevertheless, Father, not my will, thy will be done in me. Say it and mean it. Then let it silence the inner negotiator. I can of mine own self do nothing. Do you hear the release in that? The muscles of the soul unclench. The calendar stops preaching. The appetite stops barking orders. You are not the cause. You are the consent. Power remains where it belongs in God, and you, a listening branch on the vine, rest from self-causation. Let us be practical. Take the thing you have secretly outlined, the job with the corner office, the diagnosis turned quickly, the relationship mended by Tuesday at 3, the house, the automobile. Please don't pray for horses. That is too late. Name it before God only to identify the idol. Then place it on the altar of silence. Say quietly, Father, here is my outline. I surrender it. If it be possible, nevertheless, not my will, thy will be done in me. Thy grace is my sufficiency. Then stop. Do not decorate the altar with further words. Do not peek to see if the gift is taken. Sit 1 minute and bear receptivity and let God be God. What happens in that surrender? You make room for grace. What you release ceases to block what God is being. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. You discover that grace is the only architect drawing plans in a wisdom that includes ends and means, timing and texture, soul and circumstance. Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. They are not improved by their own scheming, neither are you. Do not mistake surrender for passivity. It is trust that listens and then moves as moved. Sometimes an act is given, a call is made, a word is spoken. Sometimes a profound quiet is your assignment. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Cast thy burden upon the Lord. Let the sign be peace, not a swiftly rearranged scene. My peace give I unto you, not as the world giveth. When that peace settles, know that grace has the blueprint and the building. Make this your rule. I neither outline nor withhold. Morning by morning, lay down yesterday's sketches and today's demand. Whisper, nevertheless, not my will, thy will be done in me. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Then be still. Let go of outcomes so grace can be the only architect. And watch how life, relieved of your plans, reveals the already given quietly, rightly, in God's order. Here is the holy pivot. In the very act of listening, the beggar vanishes. As long as you are talking to God, you are mortals reaching, persuading, explaining. When you listen, you are sons receiving, consenting, beholding. Did you ever stop to think of that? The sheep do not lecture the shepherd. My sheep hear my voice. In that hearing, your status changes without ceremony. No diploma is issued, no medal pinned. Yet within, a witness rises, and the soul knows its name. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Hear it as addressed to you, not earned, bestowed, not wages, inheritance. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. This is not better matter parceled out to a good performer. This is shared life, shared wisdom, shared peace. My peace give I unto you, not as the world giveth. When the listening deepens That peace is felt as atmosphere rather than prize, as home rather than holiday. You do not lug it around, you rest in it. How do you recognize the shift? A quiet comes that is not of your making. The inner weather clears. The appetites that used to shout now whisper or fall silent entirely. A word begins to move within unforced, unmistakable. Thine ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. Strain gives way to effortless rightness. Doors open without your shoulder at the hinge. Conversations find their true sentence without rehearsals. You discover yourself carried, not dragging, led, not pushing. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Contrast this with the old posture. Talkers reach into a future they do not trust, trying to import God into their program. Listeners receive what already is presence announcing itself, order revealing itself. Before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. You feel the truth of the Master's confession becoming your own. I can of mine own self do nothing. It is the Father within me that doeth the work. Sonship does not take over the universe. It yields to the indwelling source and watches love perform its own will. Let this become your inner liturgy, not as magic, but as birthright recognized. Abba, Father, thy life is my life, thy wisdom my wisdom, thy peace my peace. Then be still. Behold what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God, bestowed now in the listening. From this awareness, you will notice a new humility, no boasting, no spiritual swagger, and a new authority, not to command outcomes, but to stand as transparency to the one cause. As many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. Let yourself be led. Let the inheritance announce itself where it always lived in you. And as it does, notice how the mortal voice falls away and the Son within answers for you, through you, as you. Let us do it now. Sit as you are, or adjust until the body says, enough. Unclench the jaw. Let the shoulders drop their sermon. Loosen the grip on the day. Put the plan down by the door. It can wait outside. Let the breath be what it is. Do not lengthen it. Do not shorten it. Do not count it. Be still and know that I am God. Knowing follows stillness. So be still. When the fidgets have had their say, and the mind has run once around its track, open the door with a single whisper within. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Once, only once, like turning a key. Then stop. No affirmations, no requests, no decoration. Let there be 30 plain seconds of nothing holy, nothing without a word to cushion the silence. Truly thou art a God that hidest thyself. Accept that hiding as sacred. Sit before it as you would before a mountain at dusk. The still small voice is not summoned by noise. It is recognized in quiet. Thoughts may arrive bearing clipboards. Let them pass in the hall without interview. Sensations may knock for attention. Nod and return to the interior hush. If a gentle impulse arises, unforced, a word, a phrase, a tenderness, a direction, receive it as you would a robin's song through an open window. Do not pounce. Do not embroider. My sheep hear my voice. If what comes is only peace, then peace is the word today. If nothing comes but quiet presence, abide there. Before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking, I will hear. Trust that the answer is in the presence, not in your phrasing of a need. Let the minute end as softly as it began. Do not slam the door behind you. Breathe once more without managing it. Bow within, not to a distant throne, but to the Father within who doeth the works. Offer no report. Offer gratitude. Thy grace is sufficient for me. Thy grace is my sufficiency. Then rise and move into the day with the sign you were given, peace, a word to speak, a silence to keep, a step to take, and do not argue with it. Make this a small rule, 30 to 90 seconds, morning and evening, whenever possible, twice in a day, not as law, as love, not to get, but to consent. If the minute wishes to grow, let it. If it remains small, let it. The seed knows how to become a tree without your fingers pulling at its roots. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Do not measure holiness by duration, measure by surrender. Enter empty, listen, receive, or rest. This is prayer. Today a minute, tomorrow a few. In time, without noticing, you will find the stillness spreading like light at dawn, and you will remember the Master's promise fulfilling itself in you. My peace give I unto you, not as the world giveth. Keep to this minute of communion, and the Son will learn to answer for you, through you, as you. What follows this consent is not fireworks. It is peace. My peace give I unto you, not as the world giveth. That is the first and truest evidence the weather within clears, whether or not the weather without changes at all. Storms may still circle the horizon, a bill may still be due on Friday, a doctor may still speak in Latin, yet within a Sabbath appears that did not come from circumstance. You find yourself able to do the next right thing without tremor, to wait without gnawing, to speak without edge. This is not sedation. It is the government of God felt as atmosphere. Peace as cause, not prize. From that peace, harmonies begin to reveal themselves, byproducts, never goals. Relationships soften. A sentence that would have wounded yesterday yields today to a quieter word or no word at all, and the knot begins to loosen. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Guidance clarifies. Thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it. You do not force decisions. You recognize direction. Supply appears without outlining an envelope, a phone call, an idea that wears shoes. They that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing, but hear me, these are additions, not the kingdom. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Added, not engineered by mantra, not purchased by many words. We make no contract with matter. This way promises God awareness, not guaranteed prosperity. Do not barter with the infinite as if prayer were a wage. The wind bloweth where it listeth. In grace, forms take care of themselves in the order of God, and sometimes the order of God does not flatter our schedules. Still, the sign remains. Peace that does not track headlines, serenity that does not require rearranged furniture. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. That strength is the fruit. As consciousness lifts, you will notice a change of law. On the human level, as ye sow, so shall ye reap, and we have reaped our worries faithfully. But in grace, harvests arrive that you did not plant, and debts dissolve that you could not pay. Of his fullness have all we received, and grace for grace, unmerited favor, not as indulgence of self-will, but as the nature of love expressing itself where self-will has been laid down. Thou preparest a table before me. My cup runneth over. The arithmetic does not balance by mortal math, yet the peace is exact. When these fruits appear, do not boast. Do not draw a chart proving your technique superior. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Be a witness, not a magician. Testify to grace, not to mastery. This peace came, this word guided, this provision appeared, and I did not outline it. Point away from yourself, point to the presence, and keep the order right. Let the peace be the treasure, let the forms be the wrapping paper. If a horse shows up, ride it in gratitude, but do not pretend you have bridled God. Keep to the listening, and let the fruit be what it is. His peace, not as the world giveth. His awareness, not our achievement. Let us be honest about the inner road. It is not paved with uninterrupted hush. The mind will rattle, the heart will bargain, the clock will scold, old hurts will cue at the microphone. Do not be alarmed. Every such rising is not a reason to resume talking. It is an invitation to deeper receptivity. Prepare ye the way of the Lord. Make his paths straight. How do we make the crooked straight? Not by wrestling with effects, but by returning to cause. First, the restless mind. Thoughts flit, plans rehearse, headlines parade. Treat them as you would reflections on water effects, not powers. Anything that is written or spoken, anything that is thought, is an effect. How can you get God power into an effect? You cannot. When the chatter climbs, do not scold it. Do not argue it into holiness. Smile inwardly. Whisper once, "Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth," or "Thy grace is my sufficiency," and then drop the words and rest again. Let the thoughts pass in the hall without interview. God is not the author of confusion. Do not make confusion your author by dialoguing with it. Return to listening. Next, the bargaining impulse. It sneaks in wearing Sunday clothes. If thou wilt only do this, I will do that. Catch it in the act. Bow within and say quietly, "Nevertheless, Father, not my will, thy will be done in me. I can of mine own self do nothing." Then be still. No addendum, no improved offer. Let love be the architect. No man can serve two masters. You cannot serve both your outline and God's grace. Choose consent. Now the tyranny of time. Deadlines masquerade as destiny. If not by Tuesday at 3, the soul mutters, all is lost. Who by taking thought can add 1 cubit to his stature? Refuse the ultimatum. With patience possess ye your souls. Grace is timely, but not clock-bound. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Wait does not mean stall. It means watch. Watch for the peace that is the sign, not the hand on the dial. The wind bloweth where it listeth. Trust its list. Guilt and grievance are 2 heavy stones on the path. Lay them down with a brief liturgy and no embroidery. Say once within, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." I release you to God. I seek nothing from you. I owe you nothing but love. If the face that needs release is your own, say, "I release myself to God. I seek nothing from myself. I owe myself nothing but love." Then stop. Do not rehearse the case. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgiveness is not a speech. It is a surrender of claims. After the sentence, listen. A light nudge to keep us simple. Please don't pray for horses. That is too late. When you catch yourself outfitting a stable, models, colors, delivery dates, laugh gently and step back into silence. Use a phrase one time to open the window and then leave it open. Do not hang curtains of many words. And if at any moment you feel too small for this, hear me. You are of those few who can achieve it, not by skill, by surrender, not by better talking, by quieter listening. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight. Each obstacle is a finger pointing you back to cause. Return again and again until returning becomes abiding. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Let every hindrance become your cue to be still, that the Father within may do the works. Abiding is not an event. It is a manner of being. Pray without ceasing is not chatter without ceasing. It is receptivity without interruption. Make a rule of love, not of law. Morning, before the day begins to speak, hear, sit those 30 to 90 seconds in pure consent. Evening, before the day is tallied, return the pen to God and listen again. Between these two poles, string the day with small silences before a call, before a meal, before a decision, before you answer the knock at your door or the knock of a thought. Half a breath is enough when it is consecrated. One inward whisper, "Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth," and then the stop that makes space for God. Decision is holy ground. Listen first, act second. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Do not consult fear, consult presence. If a word is given, speak it. If a step is shown, take it. If silence is the assignment, keep it unashamed. Thine ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, "This is the way, walk ye in it." Refuse the old reflex to decide by pressure, by appetite, by headline. Wait for the sign of peace. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. When peace rules, the way is straight. When it does not, do not force a crooked path into motion. Be still. In service, come as an empty vessel. Needs will appear at your door, bodily pains, tangled stories, urgent letters. Do not manufacture answers. Do not loan your outline to God. Enter within. I can of mine own self do nothing. Consent to be transparency. Let the remedy be God and you his availability. Sometimes you will be moved to place a hand, to make a call, to prepare a meal, to say one clean sentence, sometimes only to hold the one before you in the quiet weight of presence. He sent his word and healed them. Let that word not be your invention, but his utterance through your stillness. Keep the phrases near, not as charms, as doorways. Thy grace is my sufficiency, thy peace my atmosphere, thy supply is thyself already present. Use one to turn the key, and then honor the silence it opens. Write them upon the table of thine heart, but do not beat the heart with them. Let them usher you where prayer lives beyond words, in the Word. We are called together for this, listeners, in a noisy world, witnesses to another government. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end. Let your homes, your offices, your shops be outposts of that government. Quiet, consent, obedience to the inner voice. You are of those few who can achieve it, not by talent, by surrender. Be a city set on a hill, not by bright performance, by transparent peace. Ye shall be witnesses unto me. Testify not with slogans, with presence. Let us seal this as a rule of life and a confession of identity. I abide as a son by listening. I do not outline. I consent. The Father within establishes the steps. Abide in me, and I in you. And when the day presses or praises, return to this litany and let it govern you. I can of mine own self do nothing. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth.